So let us start our today's topic. We were discussing about the topic, the chapter, we were discussing about the unit genetics and evolution. So in this unit, first we discussed about sex chromosomes. Now today we are going to discuss about genetic disorders. You know, genetic disorders, they are classified into two types. Genetic disorders are classified into two types. Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. So what is a genetic disorder first? Can you tell me what is a genetic disorder? So any disorder or any disease which is caused due to change in the genetic material, whether it is change in the gene or whether it is change in the number of chromosomes. So that disorder is known as a genetic disorder. So any problem, any disease, any condition which is not good for our body caused due to change in genetic material, whether it may be change in the gene or it may be change in the number of chromosomes. So that disorder is known as genetic disorder. Now we classify genetic disorders into two types: Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. What are Mendelian disorders? These are the disorders which are caused due. They are caused due to single gene mutation. Single gene mutations.
Gene mutation.
Mendelian disorders are those disorders which are caused due to single gene mutation. Why they have been named as Mendelian disorders? Because these mutations, these disorders, they follow the Mendelian laws of inheritance. They follow the Mendelian laws of inheritance. That is why they have been named as Mendelian disorders, right? So Mendelian disorders are those disorders which are caused due to single gene mutation. You know, genes are contained in DNA. DNA is contained in chromosomes, right? So it is believed that genes are arranged in a linear manner in the chromosomes. So if any gene suffers a mutation, that mutation may produce a disorder, may produce a dysfunction in the body. That disorder will be known as the Mendelian disorder. Why Mendelian disorder? Because this disorder will follow strictly the laws, Mendelian laws of inheritance, right? Then there are some disorders which are caused due to change in the chromosome number. So those disorders which are caused due to change in chromosome number, right? Those disorders are known as chromosomal disorders. In Mendelian disorders, there is no change in chromosome number. Chromosome number remains normal, but gene suffers mutation. In chromosomal disorders, there is change in the chromosome number, right? Mendelian disorders, they are further classified into two types: sex-linked Mendelian disorders sex-linked Mendelian disorders and autosomal Mendelian disorders. And autosomal Mendelian disorders, right? Sex-linked Mendelian disorders are those Mendelian disorders where the gene mutation occurs on sex chromosome. Usually the gene mutation occurs on the sex chromosome X. So for that purpose, we also call them as X-linked disorders. X-linked disorders. Because the gene mutation mostly occurs on the sex chromosome X. For that reason, they are also known as X-linked disorders. So sex-linked disorders are those disorders which are caused due to gene mutation on sex chromosome X, right? Autosomal Mendelian disorders are those disorders where the gene mutation occurs on autosomes. Gene mutation occurs on autosomes, right? Yesterday we discussed about sex chromosome and autosomes, right? So sex chromosomes in human beings are XX and XY, and remaining chromosomes, they are autosomes. If the gene mutation occurs on autosome, that is known as autosomal Mendelian disorder. Similarly, chromosomal disorders, they may be of two types: Sex chromosomal disorders, sex chromosomal disorders, and autosomal disorders. And autosomal disorders. Sex chromosomal disorders are those disorders which are caused due to change in number of sex chromosomes. We usually have got XX sex chromosome in females and XY in males. If the number of these sex chromosomes increases or decreases, that causes a sex chromosomal disorder. That is known as a sex chromosomal disorder. Similarly, we have got fixed number of autosomes, 44 autosomes in diploid cells. If the number of autosomes increases or decreases, that will be known as autosomal disorder. So we classify genetic disorders first into two types: Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. Mendelian disorders are those disorders which are caused due to single gene mutation, right, on chromosomes. Chromosomal disorders are those disorders which are caused due to change in chromosome number. In Mendelian disorders, the number of chromosomes is not changed. In Mendelian disorders, the number of chromosomes remains normal. However, there is only gene mutation. In chromosomal disorders, the number of chromosomes may change. The number of chromosomes may increase or decrease. The Mendelian disorders, there are two types. Sometimes gene mutation occurs on sex chromosomes. When gene mutation occurs on sex chromosomes, we call them as sex-linked Mendelian disorders. We call them as sex-linked Mendelian disorders. Sometimes the gene mutation may occur on autosomes. When gene mutation occurs on autosomes, we call them as autosomal Mendelian disorders, right? Similarly, chromosomal disorders, they may be of two types. Sometimes there may be change in the number of sex chromosomes. When there is change in the number of sex chromosomes, we call them as sex chromosomal disorders. Sometimes, similarly, there may be change in the number of autosomes. If the number of autosomes changes, it increases or decreases, we call them as autosomal disorders. So we have to discuss all these disorders. So we will start with the Mendelian disorders. We have to discuss all these disorders. And we will start with sex-linked Mendelian disorders. First, we will start sex-linked Mendelian disorders. The first sex-linked Mendelian disorder that we are going to discuss is hemophilia. Hemophilia, it is commonly known as bleeder's disease. You know what is the problem in hemophilia? In hemophilia, a person suffers profuse loss of blood, even on minor injuries. If a person receives a very little cut, he will lose a lot of blood as compared to a non-hemophilic person. Why? Because in hemophilia, blood coagulation is delayed. Blood does not coagulate immediately. When a normal person receives a cut or injury, he suffers bleeding for a little period of some period of time. Then immediately his blood starts clotting, blood starts coagulating, and it forms a clot on the injured tissue, so that there is no further loss of blood. But in hemophilic patients, this coagulation does not start immediately. So these persons, they will lose a lot of blood, even on minor injuries or minor cuts, right? This hemophilia, it is caused due to mutation of a gene. It is caused due to mutation of a gene on sex chromosome X. On sex chromosome X. So that is why we call it as an X-linked disorder. So hemophilia is also known as X-linked disorder. X-linked disorder. Because the gene mutation occurs on sex chromosome X. That is why we call it as X-linked disorder. You know this hemophilia, it is of two types. It's a type of hemophilia known as hemophilia A. Hemophilia A. It is caused due to mutation of a gene responsible for formation of clotting factor 8. This clotting factor 8 is known as anti-hemophilic factor. Anti-hemophilic factor, or we call it as AHF, anti-hemophilic factor. So hemophilia A is caused due to mutation of a gene responsible for formation of clotting factor 8, anti-hemophilic factor. And this gene is present on sex chromosome X. That is why we call it as a sex-linked disorder. So the gene which gets mutated is known as AHF gene, anti-hemophilic factor gene. So this AHF gene, it is present on sex chromosome X. What is the incidence of this hemophilia A? This hemophilia A is found in every 5,000 to 1 in every 5,000 to 10,000 male births. Male births. If 5,000 to 10,000 male children are born, out of these 5,000 to 10,000 male children, one will be suffering from hemophilia A. So this is the incidence of hemophilia A. Out of every 5,000 to 10,000 male births, one will be suffering from hemophilia A, right? Similarly, there is another form of hemophilia that is known as hemophilia B. Hemophilia B. It is caused due to mutation of a gene responsible for formation of clotting factor number 9. This clotting factor 9, it is known as Christmas factor. It is known as Christmas factor. So hemophilia B, it is caused due to mutation of a gene responsible for formation of clotting factor number 9. This clotting factor number 9, it is known as Christmas factor. It is known as Christmas factor. What is its incidence? It is found in every 20,000 to 34,000. 1 in every 20,000 to 34,000 male births. So if 20,000 to 34,000 male births occur, if 20,000 to 34,000 male children are born, one among them will be suffering from hemophilia B due to lack of Christmas factor, right? So which one of them is more prevalent? Which one of them is more common in the society? Is it hemophilia A or B? Come on, tell me. The incidence of hemophilia A is 1 in 5,000 to 10,000 male births. Incidence of hemophilia B is 1 in 20,000 to 34,000 male births. So which one of them will be common? Hemophilia A is common because its incidence is 1 in every 5,000 to 10,000. Hemophilia B, its incidence is 1 in every 20,000 to 34,000 male births, right? There is another type of hemophilia that is known as hemophilia C. That hemophilia C is not a sex-linked disorder. The gene responsible for hemophilia C is known as PTA, plasma thromboplastin antecedent. That gene is present on an autosome, chromosome number 8. Autosome number 8. Hemophilia C is caused due to mutation of a gene responsible for the formation of a clotting factor, plasma thromboplastin antecedent. The gene is present on an autosome, the chromosome number 8. So that is not a sex-linked disorder. Do you understand what I am saying? Hemophilia A and hemophilia B, they are sex-linked disorders. Hemophilia C is not a sex-linked disorder. Why that is not a sex-linked disorder? Because hemophilia C is caused due to mutation of a gene responsible for the formation of clotting factor plasma thromboplastin antecedent, right? That is known as clotting factor number 11. And the gene for that clotting factor 11 is present on an autosome, chromosome number 8. So that is not a sex-linked disorder, right? So that is about the two types of hemophilia. You know, for blood coagulation, we require 13 factors. For blood coagulation, we require 13 factors. So those factors are known as clotting factors, and they have been named from 1 to 13. So hemophilia A is caused when factor 8 is not present. Hemophilia B is caused when factor 9 is not present. So if any one of these clotting factors is missing, that is likely to cause problem in blood coagulation, right? So here the problem in blood coagulation is caused due to absence of clotting factor 8, and here the problem in blood coagulation is caused due to absence of clotting factor number 9. So that is the types of hemophilia. Now, what are the complications in this hemophilia? What are the complications of hemophilia? Number first complication is profuse bleeding even on minor injury. The first complication in hemophilia is profuse bleeding. Profuse bleeding, excessive bleeding, even on minor injury. Even on minor injuries. So these persons are likely to suffer a lot of blood loss, even if they get a minor cut. Number second, intramuscular bleedings. Deep intramuscular bleedings. These persons also suffer bleeding inside their muscles. Whenever we are performing a strenuous work, at that time our muscles suffer some damage. A little bleeding may occur, but that bleeding automatically stops. But in these hemophilic persons, bleeding occurs and that bleeding does not stop. That blood accumulates in the muscle, that causes pain in the muscle. Muscles suffer pain, that causes numbness in the muscle. Numbness in the muscle. So when bleeding occurs in the muscle, that causes pain and numbness in the muscles. They may also suffer bleeding in their joints. Bleeding in their joints. In joints, which may cause arthritis, inflammation of the joints. Which may cause them arthritis, inflammation of the joints, right? They may also suffer from intracranial bleedings. Intracranial bleedings. Intracranial bleeding means they may suffer bleeding within the brain, right? That may also cause some problems. That may sometimes lead to paralysis or even death, right? So these hemophilic patients, they suffer a lot of blood loss even on minor injuries. They develop bleedings. They suffer bleedings within their muscles that causes pain and numbness in the muscles. They may suffer bleeding in the joints, which makes their joints inflamed and stiff. So they are not able to move normally because of inflammation of the joints, known as arthritis. They may suffer intracranial bleedings. Bleeding may occur within the brain. Bleeding may occur within the eye. Bleeding may occur inside the kidneys. Any body organ can be affected. And that body organ suffers damage, right? So these are the complications which are associated with this hemophilia. This hemophilia, it causes a lot of deaths. These hemophilic patients, they died very early in their life before the treatment availability. Before treatment availability. Before treatment availability. The average lifespan of these hemophilic was just 11 years. When the treatment was not available, they died very early. Their average life was just 11 years. Now, after the treatment have been made available, after treatment has been made available, now they can live a normal life of 50 to 60 years. So why they had very limited life before the treatment availability? Their life was reduced to just 11 years because of those bleedings which occurred in the brain, kidney, and other body parts, right? So before treatment availability, their average life was just 11 years. Now, when the treatment has been made available, now they can live normally for 50 to 60 years. So what is the treatment for this genetic disorder? This genetic disorder, which is caused due to lack of clotting factors, is now treated by the clotting factor replacement therapy. Clotting factor replacement therapy. They have been given clotting factor replacement therapy. In this clotting factor replacement therapy, these patients are given ready-made clotting factors. Suppose hemophilia A, that was caused due to lack of clotting factor 8, anti-hemophilic factor. So that person is now given anti-hemophilic factor. Where from we get this anti-hemophilic factor? This anti-hemophilic factor, it may be obtained from the blood of a normal person, or it is made available through recombinant DNA technology, right? Nowadays, these hemophilics, they are treated by clotting factor replacement therapy. Where from the clotting factors are obtained? Either they are obtained from the blood of a normal person, or they are made by the help of recombinant DNA technology. So this clotting factor replacement therapy, it has increased their lifespan to 50 to 60 years from just 11 years, right? So what we are actually concerned in this case? We are actually concerned with the inheritance pattern of hemophilia. So let us try to understand this inheritance pattern of hemophilia. Our main concern in this case is inheritance pattern of hemophilia. Let us see the inheritance pattern of hemophilia. Since it is a X-linked disorder, the gene for hemophilia is present on sex chromosome X. So female for hemophilia, it may be a female may be XX, a female may be XXH, or a female may be XHXH. Why H represents the mutated allele, mutated gene or allele, right? So if both the X chromosomes have normal functional gene, then we say female is homozygous dominant for the gene. If both the genes are working fine, if both the genes are working normally, then we will say female is homozygous dominant for the gene. If one of the alleles, what is allele? What is allele? The alternative form of a gene. If one gene is dominant, normal, another gene is mutated, right? So we say female is heterozygous for the gene, for the hemophilia. So a female may be heterozygous, a female may be homozygous. If both the alleles, if both the genes are mutated in a female, then we say female is homozygous recessive. So for hemophilia, a female may be homozygous dominant. When both the genes on two sex chromosomes of a female are working normally, then we say female is homozygous dominant, right? That is a normal female. If one of the gene is mutated, if one of the allele is mutated, one gene is normal. We represent normal gene usually through H, but in this case, we don't write H. And X chromosome without any symbol on it. That represents the normal allele, right? So we only represent here recessive allele by small h, right? So one gene on this X chromosome is normal, another gene on this X chromosome is mutated. So female has got one normal gene and one mutated gene. Such condition is known as heterozygous condition. So female may be heterozygous for the hemophilia. Sometimes both the genes on both the X chromosomes are mutated. In that condition, the female is homozygous recessive for the hemophilia, right? In these two conditions, a female does not develop hemophilia. In this condition and in this condition, female does not become hemophilic, right? Heterozygous condition is a carrier female. In heterozygous condition, a female is only a carrier, but she is not hemophilic. In heterozygous condition, a female may be only a carrier, but she will never develop hemophilia, right? However, in homozygous recessive condition, a female is definitely a hemophilic, right? A female may be definitely hemophilic. So that is the condition of female for hemophilia. Now we will have a look at the condition of males for hemophilia. What are the sex chromosomes of a male?
XY.
XY. So how many X chromosomes a male has?
1.
A male has got only two sex chromosomes, X and Y. On which sex chromosome gene for clotting factor 8 or 9 is present? Gene for clotting factor 8 or 9, that is present on which of the sex chromosomes?
X.
That is present on sex, on this X chromosome. So what is the condition of male? Here, as I told you, XX, it is homozygous dominant condition in females. What you will call to this condition in males, when there is only one X chromosome and another is Y. Gene is present on X chromosome, gene is not present on Y chromosome. So what you will call this condition? इस कंडीशन को क्या बोलोगे आप? इसको हमने बोला था homozygous dominant, right? If one of the genes was mutated, we called it as heterozygous, right? If both the genes were mutated on both the X chromosomes, we called it as homozygous recessive. So what will you call this condition? So for hemophilia, a male is always hemizygous. A male is always hemizygous. For hemophilia, a male is always hemizygous. Hemi means half. Hemi means half, right? A male has only got one allele. A male has only got one allele. So usually there are two alleles. Right? But in males, since there is only one X chromosome, so that X chromosome only bears one allele of the gene. So we call this condition as hemizygous condition. So for hemophilia, a male is always hemizygous. A male is always hemizygous. Now, if the gene is normal, then the male will not be hemophilic. Male will be normal. Right? If the gene is mutated, then the male will be hemophilic. If the gene is normal, then the male is normal. If the gene is mutated, then the male is hemophilic. So you can see here, a male is never a carrier for hemophilia. A female was a carrier. Here a female can be a carrier for hemophilia. But a male can never be a carrier for hemophilia. Why a male can never be a carrier for hemophilia? Because he has got only one allele. If the allele is normal, then the male is normal, right? If the allele is mutated, then the male is hemophilic. So you have to remember, a male is always hemizygous for hemophilia. A male is always hemizygous for hemophilia, and a male can be either normal or the male can be hemophilic. A male will be never a carrier for hemophilia. A male will be never a carrier for hemophilia. However, a female may be homozygous dominant, a female may be in heterozygous condition, or a female may be in homozygous recessive condition. And a female can be a carrier for hemophilia, but males are never carrier for hemophilia, right? So that this thing you have to keep in mind always. Now our time is running out, so we will study its inheritance pattern, inshallah, tomorrow, right? Thank you for being with me. So I'm
Thank you,
ending.
sir.
Okay.